ready? So
Yep.
I know absolutely nothing about this topic, but we are, I guess, addressing the Lil Wayne, the Carter V album, or Carter 5. Is that 5? Yeah?
5.
Carter 5 album. So I'm assuming this just dropped, and we're addressing it because it was some kind of famous?
It was well. First of all, it's Lil Wayne, which is why it's famous.
Well, of course. I haven't heard anything from him in a long time, so
that's why there was the whole ongoing battle between him and Birdman for the past 2 years now.
5 years.
He's been coming out with it has it been 5 years? I'm thinking just you know what? It was about 5 years.
His last album was 2000.
Which one?
His last album was 2012. It was I'm Not a Human Being 2.
I thought he came out with the exclusive on Tidal.
I mean, I don't think that really counted, did it? Maybe he did.
Maybe, I guess not. Anyways, so yeah, there was that long. It was just a bunch of stuff going on between him and Birdman, where he wasn't giving him money that he was promised. So therefore, Lil Wayne was holding it back until then. He eventually went on to do mixtapes and all that stuff, dissing the guy that brought him up and all that stuff, which was understandable at his point because he didn't get what he did what he was supposed to do and wasn't getting paid for it. Right. So the Carter 5, I mean, being that album was the Carter 3 being the album that sold, it was the last hip hop album I think that sold 1 million copies in 1 week when people were still buying CDs. That's why the Carter series big series and albums out there. So when the Carter 4 came out, it sold I think 900,000. This one I'm not sure how much, but it was heavily anticipated.
This one's almost up to 700,000.
Is it?
This one's
I thought they said it was gonna do 400, between streams and
officially this morning. All 22 songs or 23 songs are in the top 30 of Spotify and iTunes.
Damn.
Every single song is in the top listing. And they said that it officially will be at 700K by the end of today.
Damn.
Which today, I think it's his first week sales come at the end of today. So by tomorrow, we'll know the complete first week sales. Which
so
right
it
now
hasn't even been released for a week yet.
Nah, it came out on Friday. So his first week sales, they count the weekend sometimes. So I'm not sure.
Sunday to Sunday thing.
Yeah, I think it's Friday to Friday. So Friday will be his first. I know as of right now, it's in at 500K. So,
but regardless, I think it's cool because you had Kanye West came out with 2 albums earlier this year for people who are Kanye West. Eminem dropped his surprised album. Drake came out with his album earlier this year. It's been a.
Kanye got another album coming out, so it's coming out.
That's why. Kanye got another one. Nas, he produced Nas's album, which I heard was pretty good.
God, Nas's album was flames.
It's a lot of good stuff coming out that's been coming out so far, but I haven't. I know you said that you've already listened to the whole thing, and I'm pretty sure a couple of times. So what is your what is your overall review on it?
All right, so. First thing I'm gonna tell everybody is there's no bangers on this album. There's some bangers on the album, but they're not the type of bangers you're used to. These bangers, they would be trending much better than in 2015. But the most important thing to take away from the album is not meant to be a hit album. The album is meant to be a story. He's telling his story of him from first starting all the way to now. The album starts off with his mom explaining how much she loves him and talking about how he takes care of his family, how they had never had to worry about nothing, that he made sure they always had food in the house, and then it goes from that to a song featuring XXXTentacion, which is "Don't Cry."
That was good.
Which was amazing. Yeah, it's called "Don't Cry," and
Don't Cry. That's a good one.
That was his tribute to X because apparently Wayne doesn't pay anybody any attention in the industry. He says it 100 times. People hate him for it.
He says he usually just keeps it. He usually just keeps to himself, from my understanding.
He said that he don't even know who half these new rappers are because he don't listen to them. Yeah. But he said in an interview a couple months back that I remember listening to that there's only one artist that caught his attention in the last 5 years, and it was X. So
he died.
So he wanted to make sure that X was forever remembered, so he wanted him on his album. And he had said that he tried to reach out to X, but X died probably like a week after he reached out to him.
Damn.
So this song is actually a sample for a song that was supposed to be on X's brand new album that's supposed to be releasing later this year. But the mom actually gave this to Lil Wayne. He gave the whole song, so, and Wayne rapped over the verse. So the first song is "Don't Cry," and that's his tribute to X, and it's also him talking about how people really don't pay you any attention till you die and all stuff like that. Then after that,
true, huh?
the next song I believe is him referring to like some of the older situations that was going on. So basically it's 20-something songs. It'd be hard to go through and actually explain it. I could probably do it. Me and you could probably go through it at one point and go through each song. But fast forward, the end of the album explains how he shot it. The story he's been telling for years is that he accidentally shot himself. He reveals on the album that it wasn't an accident. He really tried to commit suicide. And
that's actually on the album.
On the album, he revealed that he actually really put the gun to his chest and shot himself in the chest because the fame was too much for him and he was too young. He was only 13 years old and he was selling platinum.
Oh, that was his reason? I thought he was just playing with the gun. Because in another interview, in an older interview, he was just talking about like
it was all a lie. It was all a lie. He tweaked the story a little bit. So in this album, he tells the real story. He explains how he called his aunt. She didn't answer the phone because he felt like he was going to kill himself. She didn't answer the phone. So when she didn't answer the phone, then he just decided to go do it.
Damn.
Then the cops came in and saved his life, which is why he feels how he feels towards cops. He don't have any problems with cops at all.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember hearing that one.
And people feel like he should hate cops because he's from the hood. And he's like, I mean, a cop saved my life. He said all the other cops walked over his body and one cop stopped and carried him out. Like, you're going to leave this little kid on the ground.
Well, he also says I thought when he was talking about the cop, he was just like white people in general. Like he doesn't have a problem with white people. He never sees.
He wasn't saying.
He never sees racism.
He said the cop that saved him was a white cop. The cops that walked over his body when he was dying were black.
With the black cops, right? Trying to find the drugs and all the other.
They came to come look for drugs, and he was bleeding on the ground. They stepped over his body to come in.
It was a white cop that pulled him up and all that stuff.
So he said his issue. He doesn't have a problem with cops at all. He said when it comes to the cop situation, he just stays out of it because he said he'll be a hypocrite if he joins in on that argument.
Right.
But he's saved by one.
Right.
Which I was telling you, I can't really argue with that. I mean, that's his legit reason.
Mm-hmm.
And people get mad at him for it, but I mean, we got worse things where we got Kanye West out here screaming MAGA everywhere. Like,
so it should be. Is this an album you would listen to the first song all the way to the end in order to get the?
Yeah, the song. Basically, every song is telling a story.
Are they like in an order or?
They're in an order from beginning to end. Okay. Mona Lisa tells a story about a chick that he used to know that used to help them rob people. She would basically get with people and then get information of the guys and then call them and have them come rob them. Huh. And she would act like she didn't know why the people came and pretend like she was getting robbed too and then walk out the door.
That's a fucking thing, apparently. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, the whole album tells a story. So like, the reason why people like the album, the people who can understand the album, is because the album is something we haven't had since Kendrick, which is a story album. This album ain't meant to be listened to like a Lil Yachty album. Like, this album is pure bars. He's rapping hard as hell. Like, he has some of the craziest punchlines Lil Wayne has ever dropped ever.
Is there, in this album. Like, can we pull this up and listen, or let's see?
We should. We could. We just you can only listen to, I think it's every 60 seconds.
She said was wrong, he said not to keep resting. She said was missing, how you know something missing. He scratched his head, she said get back in bed. And she gave him some head, boy, you can't trust them bitches. Then she said,
she shut him right up. She shut him right up.
She said
that was the smoothest part of the whole. He said how you know something missing. He got back in bed, she gave him head about it. There's
I think
there's one point in the song where he's like, "Put your hands up," and then he tells her, "Put her hands down," and then that's when Kendrick Lamar comes in and he plays the other guy, and Kendrick's like, "You what?"
I gotta
feel
listen to that song again.
This is, I think this type of music we don't really have too much of, so he's really bringing it back to like how it used.
Yeah, storytelling music, man. I
When
love it.
when you have so many people that rap the same, it does get
Well,
kind of like pushed back. It gets hidden.
I mean, no, like what I'm saying is like nowadays rap could be mistaken for hip hop.
Yeah,
And then like this, when I think of rap, this is what I think of as rap music.
Mm-hmm.
right.
So I feel like he's just. I mean, I know there's a whole storyline behind it, but that's what it just reminds me of. It reminds me of rap music the way I used to listen to it.
Right, and that's how I felt when I was listening to it. I was like, at first, when I first listened to it, I was like, the first listen, I was like, I don't know, Wayne. Then I listened to it again, and I realized, I said, wait a minute, is this a story? So I started listening to it from the first beginning all the way through.
Yeah.
And I remember I was driving to work, and I was like, I said, he literally turned the whole album into a storybook. And you have to literally listen to each song to understand the story that ends at the end. He explains it when his mom comes up and she talks about like basically his retirement and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think it's like a refreshing thing. I mean, I probably listen to this album. I'm not a really big rap fan, but
I'm gonna tell you, my
since
sister
I've met-
hates rap, and she listened to it and she liked it, and that's saying something.
I mean, since I've met Jesus, I've been listening to a lot more because that's pretty much all he listens to. But instead of just listening to it as a bunch of people kind of yelling at a mic, I actually listen to the words now, and a lot of them just kind of like.
Yeah, I tell people all the time that the reason why people like rap music is because it expresses feeling. So if you listen to the words,
you
words
can
give you
relate to the words more if you actually listen to the words and not just to the music, you know.
right, and that's why there's a difference between like listening to like the new music, whereas though it's just heavy beat driven with no words.
Yeah, with words you
Really
don't
not
even
saying
understand, and you're just like bobbing your head because it has a good beat, you know.
Yep, sure.
All right. So, anything else you want to include in this topic, or what's up?
Adrian, when are you gonna listen to this album? Though?
I'm gonna try to listen to it today.
He's at
While I'm on my way to work and while I'm at work, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a long ass album. The album I think is over.
Right. So yeah, I'll give it a listen, and then obviously off camera, I'll let you know what it's.
All right. Well, if you guys have anything else you want to include into this, go ahead and comment them down below. I think we should do a segment specifically on this and explain each song once we all listen to it, because I'm gonna listen to it too today.
Oh
So.
snap! Bonnie gonna listen to it. This is
Yo.
So, yeah, if you guys have anything else you want to say or comment or ask us, go ahead and comment them down below in the comment section, or you can Twitter us at our Twitter names, and yeah, we're going to move on to our next topic.
Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast. My name is Bonnie. I'm here with Adrian and Gas, and we're going to do some topics for you today. What are our topics?
I know what the topics are. I'm just saying. I mean, she sounded like she was about to broadcast for Channel 6 News.
Seriously, just
Like I thought this was a podcast. Like this is why she gets constant shut ups every day. Like every day you gotta get a constant shut up. Like lost my train of thought.
So, before we get started, why don't y'all just say hi to Snapchat for me, because I need to put this on Snapchat. Jeez.
Just wanna-
that was so corny too.
That was
Really
so
just stood there frozen.